Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about the latest UN report which has highlighted the problem of aging of dams in India. So what do you generally mean by aging of dam? It's like when the dam is constructed, they would have a particular lifetime. Like for that, their storage capacity would be fine to take care of the needs of the time. So that is the lifetime. So aging of dams specifically means we have many old dams or the dams which were constructed like more than 50 years ago. So this is what we understand by the aging of dams. Now aging of dams create a different kind of problem in terms of economy, in terms of disaster, environment, all these things taken into consideration. So what we will do in this video, we will first and then little bit of context, little bit of details about this report, and then we will look into the issues, how the aging of dam is going to affect the various aspects of life. So let's start. India is ranked third in the world in terms of building large dam. Now this is something you should remember, that in terms of building large dam, India is the third country across the world. Over 1,000 large dams in India will roughly be 50-year-old in 2025, and such aging structure pose a growing threat. So already told, it happens with most of the structures, right? As and long they start aging, they become more of a liability. Like their structural integrity start to degenerate, and there are also a lot of different problems associated with it. So as the dams are getting aged now, there is a kind of a catastrophe which is waiting. So in that regard, we have to figure it out. There are more than 4,000 large dams in the country that will be over 50 years in 2050. So like almost 30 years from now, there are going to be around 4,000 large dams which will become more than 50 years of age. And 64 large dams will be more than even 150 years of age. So you can understand we have dams as far as like even 150 years of age. Aging signs include increasing cases of dam failures, progressively increasing cost of dam repair and maintenance, increasing reservoir sedimentation, and loss of dam's functionality and effectiveness, strongly interconnected manifestation. So what happened as the dams start to become old, like the aging start, we start seeing various kind of problem. Dam failures itself can take place. There will be increase in cost of repair. So think about it from a normal building also, like when the building is new, you need little bit of like polishing and it should be fine. But as you move forward, the whole idea of the things become more problematic. So that is something you should take into consideration. So that is how the progressively increasing cost of dams and repair and maintenance also will keep on increasing. Then there is an increasing reservoir sedimentation and loss of dams functionality and effectiveness, is strongly interconnected manifestation. So this is something you should remember from that perspective. Now let's move forward and look into the idea of what are the issues associated with aging dams. Now this is an important topic from your disaster management point of view also. So we have the disaster management as a part of syllabus in our GS paper 3. So GS paper 3 has a topic of disaster management, and in that there is a chapter regarding the disaster management, the topic regarding the disaster management. So just look into the issues associated with it. So as dams age, soil replaces the water in the reservoir. So what happens? There is a process known as siltation, or you can also call it as sedimentation. So as and when the river and the from across the places will keep coming over there, it will start settling down at the bottom. What will eventually it means? It means that the storage capacity cannot be claimed to be the same as it was in 1900 or 1950. So this is what actually happens. Like when the dam was newly constructed, the storage capacity it has at that time, it will not remain the same because of the process known as the sedimentation. Studies show that the design of many India's reservoirs is flawed in the sense that the design underestimate the rate of siltation and overestimate the live storage capacity created. So this is something again many experts have highlighted, that at the time when the dams were constructed, there was not much utilization of what is known as sedimentation science. which means that they underestimated that how much soil will be getting deposited, and they overestimated the storage capacity, which means that if the life of the dam when it was constructed was considered to be around 800 years, in eventually or in actuality it is only 80 years. So there is this kind of flawed design is also a point to be considered. When soil replaces the water in reservoir, supplies get choked. So we know dams are utilized for providing water for irrigation, for an example. So in that case, the supply itself will get choked. The cropped area begins receiving less and less water as time progresses, because the supply itself is choked. You cannot deliver the water to the fields, and hence the cropped area will receive less water. The net zone water either shrinks in size or depends on rain or groundwater, which is overexploited. Now, this is also a point to be considered, that the net zone water area, the overall area in the crop which utilize the water, starts shrinking in size, because we do not have water, because the storage capacity of dam is already shrinking, and people will start utilizing groundwater. So now when we do not get the water from the dam, the farmers, the people who are growing the crops, they will try to extract the water from the underground, and we know that the groundwater over exploitation is again a major problem in India. So that is again something you should take into consideration. The design flood cushion with several reservoirs across many rivers basin may have already depleted substantially, due to which floods have become more frequent downstream of dams. So now remember, in Kerala 2018, it was considered that because of the downstream dam only the flood happened over there. So you can understand the flood cushion also, because there is a flaw in the design itself. The flood cushion that were designed were taking into consideration of that kind of sedimentation, but over a period of time it was realized that the rate of sedimentation is way higher than what was expected. So along the same line, the flood cushion would not be as effective anymore, and that is seen because of the various and frequent events of floods which are being witnessed these days. Now let's also look into a initiative which has been started by the government with the support of World Bank. So this is also getting the funds from the World Bank, and it is known as Dam Rehabilitation and Improvement Project, or in short what you can understand as DRIP. So it was started in 2012 and aims to improve the safety and performance of selected existing dams and associated appurtenances in a sustainable manner. So this is something which is the aim. So it was started in 2012, and that time also the experts have started that okay, yeah, the dams are aging, they would require more rehabilitation and improvement in order to be sustainable. So that's why the DRIP program was envisioned. DRIP also has the objective of strengthening the dam safety institutional setup in participating states, as well as at the central level, and exploring alternate and incidental means in few of the selected dams to generate the incidental revenue for sustainable operation and maintenance of dam. What this is basically means that there has to be a strengthening and improvement of what is already there. So these are like large structure. Dam also required a lot of money to be constructed. So we cannot just discard them easily. So there has to be an alternative means. There has to be way through which it could become operational. So all these things were also mulled over during in the process of DRIP. It also aims at ensuring the safety of downstream population and property that are affected in an area of a dam failure or operational failure. So for an example, the flooding of downstream. So DRIP also take consideration that the population at the downstream is safeguarded against such kind of problem. So this is important initiative. Just remember, like when you're talking about the disaster management, how the flood happens because of the dam. In that case, just remember in the conclusion to point towards a initiative by government by the name of DRIP. So I hope you have understood this video. We discussed about the aging of dam. What does this exactly means? We also discussed various issues associated with the aging of dam, and we also now have discussed the DRIP also. So if you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you.